Here we are, the next episode of Music in the Stars. This one focused on the new moon in Scorpio happening right now, which is also conjunct Mars in Scorpio, opposite Uranus. And this is what's going to be interesting, looking at that opposition. Let's get into it and find out what this means for us. What is a new moon? It's a conjunction. The new moon happens when it's conjunct the sun. A conjunction is when the two planets are on top of one another, working together. It brings a lot of strength and a lot of energy. In this case, through the core of yourself, the sun representing our identity, the sun representing that core individual sense of who we are that radiates out. So in this case now, the feelings and the emotions, the moon, are working through our core self in the sign of Scorpio. Now, you've heard me talk quite a bit about Scorpio recently because of all the different planets that have been in Scorpio. Scorpio is deep. Scorpio is going to be digging into our emotional body right now, intensely. Scorpio works with transformation. Scorpio works in a way that goes into the self to dig in those diamonds that are hidden in the muck, hidden in the mire, to bring them out, to be seen, to shine, which is perfect with working with the sun, right? To go and find in that true core sense of self and shine it out. However, it's not always easy. Scorpio isn't like flowers and butterflies all the time. Scorpio's comfortable in those depths. It's comfortable going in and digging in. So let's think now. Emotional intensity. Somebody wrote me the other day, a good friend, he said, hey, is there anything going on out there that might be making the emotions more dynamic, might be stirring things up? 100%. This would be doing that. Absolutely. Now let's talk about it being conjunct Mars. Mars, the ruler of Scorpio, with Pluto, of course. Mars conjunct the moon, conjunct the sun right now. Mars is our willpower, our dynamic force, strength, pushing and urging us into life, urging us through our day. Mars is a motivating force, a motivating power. It's in Scorpio. Motivations right now are going deep, motivations to transform. Mars loves being in Scorpio. Using that stinger maybe. Time to go to battle, to like turn up those stones, to go into the shadows and see what's happening in there. But again, connect that, tie that in to the emotional body right now. Things are going to be getting stirred up. Things are going deep right now. You know, in general, a new moon in Scorpio would bring someone into the depths of self. Add strength to that with Mars. It's going to go even further into the depths of self. Let's tie in the tarot now, Mars. The Tower card. Using that energy, using that force, using that strength, that motivational power to tear down the walls of illusion, the walls of delusion. Tear it down, transform it, use it as fertilizer, use that as the compost of the new self that is emerging and transforming right now. Again, I'm tying all this into self because these are conjunct the sun, the self. The new moon and Mars are working in harmony with the truth of who you are, but there's a lot of movement there, a lot of energy, a lot of dynamic forces at play that may not be easy. My wife also asked me, is there anything going on astrologically that might be affecting relationships? 100%. This could absolutely be affecting relationships right now because of the emotional turmoil that each individual, the sun, could be feeling right now. And then we bring that to the surface of ourselves, and then that bounces off of our close loved ones, off of who we're relating with. And it can bring things up. It can stir things up on a very intense level. Okay, now let's move it around. Let's tie that into the opposition that I mentioned to Uranus. Uranus, an outer planet, transformative planets. When there are outer planets that form an aspect with the inner planets, they're moving, they're transforming us again. So now again we have the word transformation happening. So again, there's a lot of movement. And one of the massive key words of Uranus is change, quick change. So things that are stirring up and like going in on an intense level are changing us right now. We are literally at a point of movement and change within the self, the sun. Mars is working with that. The new moon working with that. All those Scorpio energies working with that. And then the opposition of Uranus. So let's talk about the opposition aspect itself. What is an opposition? You know, as the word says, it's basically when a planet is in the opposite house, the opposite area of the cosmos as the other planet that we're looking at. In this case, we're looking at the moon, also tied into the sun, also tied into the Mars because of that conjunction that we talked about. So all three of those planets are opposite Uranus. So when there's an opposition, there's a tension. It's like a cord, a tether, a string. I always, being a musician, I talk about tuning a guitar string. We have that tension. Yet that tension, when you pluck that string and it hits the correct note, it can create beauty and magic. But when it's not quite tuned, it creates a discord. So these oppositions seek an adjustment, a balancing. Uranus, the planet of change, it's a very eccentric planet. It rules, it's very unique. It rules humanitarian tendencies. It wants to change things on a cosmic and global level. And not just for the individual, even though this is 100% tied into individuality. And let's remember, how is that? Through the sun, through the new moon, through the Mars conjunct. There's a massive change in that through this opposition of Mars. So we need to tune ourselves to the changes that are going on. Because whether we like it or not, whether we want to or not, there's movement. Things are happening. Things are manifesting. Things are changing. That's one certainty we can always be sure of in life. Nothing will stay the same. This is not a static existence. There is movement and change. And it's being asked on a very deep level of you right now, which could bring up very intense emotions. It could bring up darkness within. We are all suppressing different things that we don't want to look at, that we've decided to bury down inside in some way. Likely these are being stirred up right now. Likely this is coming up in a big way and you may react. It's one of the things of Uranus as well. Uranus will cause like a reaction. It's like when someone plucks that string of that opposition, it creates this note and we're going to vibrate to that. But we can tune ourselves. We can do that if we are only aware of what's going on. And as you've heard me say many times, that is what astrology is for. This is what astrology can help us do. Create awareness of the different things that are happening out there, astronomically, astrologically, and then tune ourselves to it. So we need to figure out where our vibration is at on an individual level, where our emotional being is at within that individual level, and motivate ourselves to tune it, to align with that movement. If we're going to change, which we are, let's be a part of that change. Let's not just be, blown in the winds randomly. Let's hoist our sails up and move in the direction that we want to move. But to do that, we have to do the work. We have to look at ourselves. We have to look at our truth, see what's going on in the depths of our being, and use that awareness to evolve, to grow. One of the ruling planets of Scorpio that the moon is in right now is Pluto, the planet of evolution, growth, change, transformation. All these things are being asked of us right now, which is a beautiful thing, but it does not mean it's easy. So just be aware of that. Be aware of different emotions, intense emotions that may be coming up, that may be projected onto or battled out with your partners. And be mindful of that. And hopefully you can use that as a tool to not make things worse, to not make things even more intense, but instead go, that's right. Sun's in Scorpio, moon's in Scorpio, Mars in Scorpio, conjunct one another, and again, opposite Uranus right now. Looking for balance, looking for a tuning of self to change and evolve and grow. cleaning up those dark shadows, cleaning up those dark messes that might lie deep within the psyche, deep within the soul. This is an opportunity for healing, an opportunity for cleansing, and an opportunity for growth. So use this new moon time to set your intentions to grow in a way that you want to grow in a way that brings healing to yourself, to your family, to those around you, to all those that you're relating with. Because again, moon, emotion, feelings, reactions, actions, these happen with how we relate with one another. So take deep breaths through this, calm yourself, set your intentions, and move with beauty through the world. Thank you so much for listening. I pray that this time is empowering for you and growing for you. Please, if you would, subscribe to my channel. More videos will be coming, talking about the cosmos, talking about mystical and magical things that are happening all the time out there. Thank you so very much.